Good evening, I'm Christopher Sullivan Diaz, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. The number 8 Nebraska men's basketball team returns home Tuesday night as the Huskers welcome Oregon to Lincoln. Tip-off between the Huskers and Ducks from a sold-out Pinnacle Bank Arena is set for shortly after 8 p.m. Legendary men's gymnastics assistant coach Jim Hartung passed away on Saturday night. Hartung has been a Nebraska assistant gymnastics coach for the past 19 seasons. Giving back to the championship program he helped build as one of the United States' most accomplished gymnasts. Hartung amassed a total of 22 All-America awards and 7 NCAA individual titles during his career from 1979 to 1982. His accolades include a pair of NCAA All-Around titles in 1981 and 82. Finally, in an NFL playoff matchup tonight, the Steelers host the Texans in the AFC. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process. The Retirement Compass, visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here in the Akrs Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Dribbles left-handed dribble. Climbing up underneath him is Wilkerson. He drives to the right side, rubs a man off, over to Mass, puts up the three. Got it! Holy cow! Mass puts it up and in. Nebraska's up by 9. Rico, free throw up, and it's no good. And the rebound to Sanford, and the Huskers are going to win this one. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Sanford's not going to be fouled, and it is over. It is over. Nebraska on the road goes 16-0. 5-0 in the conference, knocking off Indiana 83-77. Basketball School 83. Football School 77. Renamed the movie. It ain't the Hoosiers, it's the Huskers.
Rebound, Caffey comes up the floor with 4, with 3, with 2, drives, kicks underneath, so Guman puts it up, blocked! Emphatically blocked by Petrie to end the game, and that is a Nebraska winner. Jessica Petrie with a big-time block to end this game.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday to you. We've got a big 2 hours headed your way as we've got the Nebraska Men's Basketball Show coming up here in hour number 2. Going to hear from a couple of voices that we haven't heard from. I had a chance to chat with Charlie Hoiberg, so we're going to bring you that conversation. But you also had a chance to chat with a guy that's huge behind the scenes, does a lot in the recruiting area. A lot of the things that you see this team in the team bonding aspect of it, also the branding. Luca.
Virgilio.
Virgilio. I always just call him Luca, but Luca's going to be in here, and I can't wait to hear that conversation because he does so many things, and he's so important, and you don't always see and hear from him, but he is instrumental to how this thing goes. And Coach Hoiberg's been so complimentary of his staff, as you know, as much as the players get a lot of the credit, they wouldn't be where they are with the guys, all of the guys working behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's probably the most important position outside of the head coach in today's landscape of college sports, general manager. You need to consistently assess talent. You're not just looking at the current roster and what you have, and if anything, that's the last thing that you're looking at if you're him. It's, okay, what's next? We're off to this incredible 16-0 start, 5-0 in the Big Ten, doing things you haven't seen since the mid-'70s. You have your best, highest AP ranking, tied for the highest ranking the program's ever seen at 8th. But for him, it's always what's next, because from his lens, you're losing the core of this team going into next year. So his day is now evaluating, outside of all the administrative tasks that take place with every single road trip they go on, but he has to evaluate high school, JUCO, and other college talent to say, okay, what's the next crop of guys that we can keep this going? Yep.
And then also just he's so instrumental in, he's involved with the marketing aspect of it, some of the things that you see in venue, and then hey, what does a visit look like for these guys when they're coming here on campus? So many different things that he's involved in. Cannot wait to hear that conversation here coming up, hour number 2, as well as Charlie Hoiberg, who has joined the staff this year as a graduate assistant. Lots and lots of news to get to. We want to talk more men's hoops and their big win at Indiana on Saturday here coming up in just a bit. But, man, we signed off the air on Friday trying to guesstimate what the news would look like for Nebraska football in the transfer portal. And I think it's even more than what we even thought, because we not only do we have, 5 new additions, also have a defensive line coach. So up to 14 now out of the portal. And we thought maybe we both kind of guessed around 13 to 15, and they're up to 14. I don't think they're still not done yet. Still got till Friday of this week before that portal closes. But got some big additions here, and including a defensive line coach.
Yeah, heavily defense. A lot of the news around defense. Corey Brown, it sounds like, although it doesn't seem like it's a done deal yet, that it's just about at that point, coming from Miami of Ohio, where he coached a lot of all MAC players. And everybody wants this big name, and I don't know how many big name defensive line coaches there are out there, but you want somebody who's going to be able to come in and develop your players. And you're bringing in Corey Brown, who is somebody who has consistently done that in his career and has a relationship with the defense coordinator, Rob Orich. They cross paths at South Dakota. But when you look at what Corey Brown had done at Miami of Ohio, he's had consistent first team, second team, third team defensive linemen. And so there's a big news around that, bringing in a couple of defensive linemen, one that was probably a couple hours ago, bringing in Jashir Whittington from Pitt, somebody who's been in the hopper for a couple days, rumored to have heavy interest in Nebraska and vice versa. It seems like that is somebody that is going to be able to be brought in here. And while not official, it seems like it's trending in that direction. Played 11 games last year for Pitt. And then Andy Burburia, I want to make sure I get that correct, from Iowa Western, which is the Burburia. Make sure I get that right by September of next year. But JUCO All-American stats they just pop off the page. He had almost 20 tackles for loss, 12 sacks. He's from that pipeline of Iowa Western that everybody wants to dig into, and you finally do, and you get probably one of the most marquee defensive linemen in the entire portal, not just from a JUCO perspective, but the entire portal.
I can report, so Jashir Whittington is official. He is official. Okay. So that happened this afternoon. He is signed and officially a Husker. So that was a big get, one of the top defensive tackles in Pennsylvania high school, coming out of high school. In fact, I think ranked number 14 nationally. So had already had an impact, 6 foot 270. So excited about him. I also am so excited about the quarterback, Danny Kalen, coming back home. Everybody on this program that's listened to the show, watches high school football, knows about Danny Kalen. Was here out of high school, ended up transferring to Virginia, but he's back, and just a great human being. I can't wait for you to talk with him, because he's a great interview. That was one of the things that Cassidy said, who shoots a lot of my interviews, how great of an interview he is. But just a great person, and I think another one of those stories when we talk about Jamarcus Lawrence, who was able to leave and come back, and having that relationship. I think that's a really cool story, and again, another piece of needed depth in that room, and a great person, and a hometown Husker, homegrown Husker. I was so ecstatic when I saw that name.
Yeah, coming from Bellevue West, had a great high school career, and like you said, sometimes the grass isn't always greener in some of these places, goes to Virginia and comes back. And now that provides, like you said, a depth piece where that presents the option and this is really looking ahead, but if TJ Lateef wanted to, say, take a redshirt development season, whether that's something that's even forecast for him, that you have, whether it's TJ or Danny, probably are battling for that number 2 quarterback position behind Anthony. So at least leaves open the opportunity that if Anthony, knock on wood, has a completely healthy season, that you're probably going to save TJ anyway with the red shirt. But even if for some reason that you had to have a number 2 quarterback go in there and play some games, that TJ perhaps gets an opportunity to hold on to an extra year.
And I don't know if I'd always say, the grass is greener. For Danny Kalen, he comes in, he has a good spring, and maybe wants to try to see if he can get some more opportunity, knowing what the situation here at Nebraska. You leave, you come back. You never know kind of what you're looking for at that young age. And so probably continues to have these conversations and likes the potential of what could be here and what his role might be. And so, you never know, but I just think it's a great thing that both parties could maintain that kind of relationship that it allows for someone like Danny to be able to come home. So really cool story there. A couple other big names too. I mean, we talked about Jasir Whittington and then Jack Wills, the long snapper. He's considered the top rated long snapper in the portal. And that was another really important piece. I know we don't always talk about that, but a couple years ago, there was some shifting and moving around in the snapping position, and it can disrupt some things on your kicking unit. And so you get one of the guys there that should be pretty solid, and he's got 3 seasons of availability left for this program. And so coming out of Michigan State, and then you get Jason Shiggs, another defensive back, and Victor Evans, a veteran defensive back out of FIU. So multiple defensive backs in this bunch that we haven't talked about yet. And, with a young core, and granted, I know a lot of these guys now entering maybe their 3rd season, but haven't played as much football, but you get some veteran DBs to add to go along with your young crop that you're really excited about.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're done in terms of defensive line depth yet, and goes under the radar, but I think we might have mentioned it on Friday when it happened. Willis McGahee's coming back. He went into the portal. He's coming back. Dylan Parrott also withdrew from the portal. He's coming back. It's funny, of all the names that, went into the portal, there's a large chunk of guys that have come back, and I still don't think Keona Davis officially put his name into the transfer portal either, so who knows what's going on there, but it says a lot to the culture when you have 4 guys, 2 of which have seen some time, and I think Willis McGahee's going to play a legitimate role on this year's team.
That was a big re-get, I guess.
It feels like a transfer portal addition in itself, and who knows what happens with Keona Davis. But what you wanted to do going into this offseason is you're going to play a different type of defense, right? A 4-2-5 probably relies a little bit more on athleticism, but you certainly want to be better at the defensive tackle positions. That JUCO get is probably one of the top in the country, like we mentioned, top defensive lineman in the country. That was a massive get. The guy from Pitt, massive get. But you also got a lot stronger at that linebacker position, and also reports that Vincent Shavers is going to re-sign and be back. There's always the thought of guys you never know behind the scenes who's shopping or who might have thoughts of going somewhere else. But it sounds like that even Vincent Shavers, although there wasn't anything of him going into the portal, but there has been news he's re-signed, so he's going to be back. You strengthen the second level, and then you've definitely, with what you lose in the secondary, you've strengthened that cornerback position. You've definitely strengthened the safety position. So you've done a lot of different things to get better, and I don't think they're done quite yet.
Willis McGahee was a huge re-get because he was somebody that came in as a true freshman, showed lots of flashes. They decided to redshirt last year. So you talked about this, about guys that, hey, you invest in, you help to grow, you get in the weight room, and then you help develop, and then all of a sudden they're in this position to be able to leave. So I think he's a big piece to re-get. I'm really excited to see. I was excited to see him potentially what he could do in the bowl game, and just kind of maybe got a little out of hand. And again, he just spent last year and played the first couple, right, and then ended up redshirting. But I'm really, really excited to see how he comes out coming off the redshirt year. And Dylan Parrott, we've also talked about how great of a family he comes from, and just I think a really good locker room guy, and another guy that has some experience. But you can never have enough depth there, I think, up front at either O-line or D-line. And then did you look up how to say Andy's name, the Iowa Western?
Yeah, that's what I struggled through in the beginning of the show. Berberia.
Okay, but
Andy Berberia.
He's not official yet, but it's all signs point to him. The rest of the guys we've talked about are official. So I'm on the email thread, and so most of these guys have signed all throughout yesterday, and today was getting lots of emails about that. He's the only one that is not signed, but all signs point to him being official, and probably by tomorrow it will be official, but big news there. All right, the other news is we've been kind of talking a little bit about Dylan Raiola, one of the big names that did go into the portal that the Huskers will lose when you talk about the portal giving and the portal taking away. Dylan Raiola, the quarterback, is committed to Oregon, which we kind of thought. We had talked about speculating a little bit. Maybe it could be Miami, could be Oregon, and it is officially Oregon.
Yeah, and he's, of course, coming back from the injury, and the thought is if Dante Moore comes back for another year with Oregon that he's going to redshirt, which makes sense. He's coming back from a pretty significant injury. If he doesn't, which I don't think he will, he's going to be the number 2 pick in the draft, Dante Moore. Fernando Mendoza is going to be 1. Dante Moore is going to be 2. So, the only other way to go up would be if you're the number one pick next year, and that's barring that you're risking injury going back to college. So I really believe that Dante Moore's probably going to go to the NFL. Didn't end well for him in the playoff game the other night, but for Dylan, I think it's a better fit, right? It just didn't seem to fit here in terms of style of offense or what Dana wanted to run. And, of course, it's clear of what Nebraska wanted to do with who they went out and got and what their quarterback room looks like now. I was watching highlights last night of Calandria and the different aspects of what he's going to bring this offense. I mean, he is a true runner. He can get out and gallop, gives you a whole different dynamic in the red zone as opposed to what Dylan gave you. And that's why I think Dylan's going to be I think he's a great fit for Oregon. He's going to have a lot of big-time talent around him. It's clear how talented Dylan is, and so for him, I'm happy for a guy like that, and whether he sits out a season or he's ready to go. We do know this, Nebraska's going to have Oregon on the schedule not just next year in Eugene, but the year after when they come to Memorial, so it seems like at some point Dylan's going to play Nebraska in these next 2 years.
Paulin Hoskins on the text line said, I have to ask, what are the odds that Dylan is in Lincoln for the game tomorrow night? I don't think very high.
No, I don't think he's paying attention to basketball right now. I think
he's probably in Oregon. He's probably, or with the family, or I don't know, maybe he's moving. I don't know, but I don't think he will be there. And I think there's a lot of other things to pay attention to other than, will the former starting quarterback be inside Pinnacle Bank Arena? Because how about this basketball team? I want to talk a little bit about that big win at Indiana on the road as they stay unbeaten over the weekend. I want to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk some baseball because last week both the baseball and softball teams went through their media car wash, if you will, where they go to all the different stations up here on this level and doing their big screen stuff and also their intro video, social media, all that kind of stuff. And Kyle put Ben to work. You put Ben to work.
I did.
So
I did. How about that?
We're going to hear from Ben.
Ben was just hanging out. Ben, you can't hang out long enough and not be expected to go to work.
Oh, and what's funny is I asked Ben, he goes, I can introduce him. I was like, no, we want you to do the interview.
No, you're doing it.
Kyle's going to record it.
By the way, shout out to Cassidy, who's our camera person on the iPhone. Holding up the iPhone for 5-6 minutes at a time is painful. When you watch the interview, you'll see the camera shake a little bit. It's because I'm physically shaking. By the way, I got a DM from Sean Callahan, who's listening right now. Berberia won't sign until normal signing day in February. He arrives in May, so that's why he'll sign in February when it comes time to sign then.
There you go.
Appreciate that, Sean.
All right, let's get to a break. Coming up next, we're going to talk some Husker baseball. Actually, no, not next. Next, we're going to talk basketball up in the 640 segment. Sorry, excuse me. We'll hear from Ben and Dylan Carey. So more Sports Nightly coming up right after this. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes to finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. All right, we're going to talk a lot more about it here coming up in hour number 2 as we have our Nebraska men's basketball hour. But I did want to make sure that we chatted about it here. But a huge win for Nebraska men's basketball on the road at Indiana, coming back from down 16. You just never doubt this team anymore.
Can you believe it?
You know, I mean, it's just so obviously I've covered multiple teams throughout the years, and not even just here, even at Oklahoma, covered a Final Four team. And even when they'd go on the road, you'd worry a little bit about it's just hard to do. It's hard to win on the road. And for this team, there's this different kind of belief that you just, and even, we talked about this last week. Coach Hoiberg has said that more than likely they're probably not going to go undefeated, but you just believe every time because of what they've done and their maturity and how they approach everything. I just have this different kind of belief with this group in particular that even when they're on the road, they're going to come out with a win.
Yeah. And when I talk to Luca, I'll bring this up, but even when you're down 16 points in the second half, everybody is looking to tell you, okay, I told you Nebraska's not for real. Like, everyone's waiting for that moment for the tide to officially turn, for everybody to be able to confirm what they think about this Nebraska team, because they're looking at history and they're looking, well, Nebraska, there's no way they can be this good. There's no way they could win at Ohio State when they fall behind in the second half. There's no way they could win at Illinois after blowing a lead and finding a way to hit a game-winning shot. There's no way they can hold Michigan State under 60 points at home and score 58, have a bad offensive second half, and still find a way to win. Yet here we are, and if you were to give Duke or Houston Nebraska's current resume, they would be number one with a bullet. They would be the top overall seed. And you know what's funny, too, and I don't necessarily know the ins and outs of everything of how the net ranking works. Nebraska didn't move up one bit in the net rank. They're still 11th after a quad one road win. Michigan, who lost, and how good does that Wisconsin win now look? Wisconsin just went on the road and beat number one Michigan. So even that win looks even better on your resume. You're right. It's a team that is ultra connected, which is so incredibly rare now in today's college basketball. Jamarcus Lawrence, who's not healthy, he's dealing with an ankle injury. He had a career-high performance, 27 points. Again, they got off to another fast start that sort of helped buoy them. And Rick Mass, another game where he didn't have a great shooting display but hit a big three down the stretch. Braden Frager didn't become a factor until the last 5 or so minutes, had the big offensive rebound and put back, had, I believe, a big three in the second half as well. Cale Jacobson, just when he plays at least 10 minutes, they seem to win games, and he's been bumped up into a much, much bigger role with Connor's injury. Up and down this roster, it just everybody comes in and plays a specific role. Sam Hoiberg, he's only scored 5 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. He's somebody who can go in and get a rebound, get a tough ball, and they defend at a high level. They just wear you out. They don't get tired the later the game goes.
It's somebody different. I mean, you talk about Jamarcus Lawrence. I mean, there's just been so many different games where somebody has stepped up in the moment, and it's not always like that with the team where you've got 6, 7 guys that any one of them could be the guy that night. And we kind of felt that way going into the year. I mean, you always know Rink's going to be probably one of those guys. I think we learned very early on that Price Sanfort was going to be a guy that scored a lot of points. But in terms of delivering those huge plays, those game-swinging plays that determine a lot of times whether you win or lose a basketball game or how that momentum swings in just pivotal moments, it's somebody different almost every single night. And that's just not always the case with a basketball team. When you talk about players making plays, whatever the sport may be, your best players got to make plays. And this team has multiple guys that will be that guy whenever they need to be.
They scored 53 points in the second half on the road. They were down 9 at half, went down 16 early in the second half. I mean, they just put the clamps down. They just continue to. They're never out of it, and that's what you're going to need in March. That's what you're going to need in the Big Ten tournament. There's a good chance that you're only going to need one win to get to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament, right? And put yourself in position to win a Big Ten tournament championship. You just right now, most prognostications have them as a 3 seed. Some even have them as high as 2. Some, crazy enough, I've even seen them as a high 1 seed, which probably more work to be done. They're probably going to have to win a Big Ten tournament to be a 1 with continued success in the regular season. But to just think about some of the things that have not happened here since the 75-76 season, a top 10 team that is every bit, it is not smoke and mirrors because it's every single night. It's not necessarily the most talented team. That's what tells you that it's not smoke and mirrors. It's a true collection of a team that is incredibly well coached. And for Fred, it's been this is his 7th year, a culmination of getting a team that is just about as perfect as you can get for how he wants to play.
And yet they have not played perfect by any means.
No.
They still don't feel like they've put a complete. And they were saying that going into Indiana, and I would even say probably they'd still say that was not their best performance against Indiana.
Now, this is the ultimate test. You play an Oregon team tomorrow that you're an 11.5-point favorite. Do you play against a team that you're clearly better than right now? Do you blow them out at home? Do you find a way to win that game going? That will tell me a lot about this team. Is with the games that you're supposed to win, do you put your foot on the gas and win it going away in the second half? Easier said than done in this league. That probably doesn't happen, and that's probably asking way too much of this team because when you play in conference number 18 in the standings and number 1 in the standings, there's a good chance it could be a dogfight in the second half. So that's probably too much to ask.
And Oregon, a very well-coached team as well.
Very well coached, very athletic. They do have issues looking through some of the numbers, really high turnover number. They score bottom third of the pack in the Big Ten. Don't defend at an extremely high level. Watch them a little bit in their overtime loss at Rutgers. It's a team that you should beat. You're an 11.5-point favorite. Do you get off to a fast start and not let Oregon get confidence?
And listen, I truly believe, and again, I think it's part of how this team is wired and what they've made us believe, because the proof has been in the pudding. But I've told this before, I've talked to you about this before, going back to a couple years ago when they made the NCAA tournament, when they got back to the tournament, they didn't lose a home game in conference play. They went perfect. They actually only lost one game that entire season. Last year, they dropped some home games that they felt like they should have won, and had they won, they're back in the NCAA tournament. And so some of those guys that were part of the team for both Ring Mast was here and a part of protecting the home court 2 years ago. He was hurt last year, but certainly was on the bench, witnessed it. Jamarcus Lawrence was part of the team that protected the home court. Sam Hoiberg, Cale Jacobson. You've got some guys that were a little bit familiar with both scenarios, and this is a team that's very, very convicted about protecting the home floor. And while they haven't come out and started at times as good as maybe they've hoped, they know the importance of protecting the home court. And while they've still been able to win some big games on the road, it's going to get tougher. And so you've got to continue. You've got to keep racking up those wins here at home. And this is a team that understands that probably more than most teams, because they've experienced it both ways. They've experienced how it's helped them, and they've experienced how it's hurt them.
I think what's shocking is the success they've had on the road. I think more than anything, it's hard to win on the road. Now, you look at it, the next 4 games, you should be favored. You're going to be favored against Oregon. You're going to be favored at Northwestern, home against Washington, at Minnesota. And then that leads up to this gigantic battle against Michigan. You're not looking over any 4 of those teams. And if there's one team that's not going to look them over, it's this Nebraska team. But it sets up what potentially could be the biggest game, bar none, not even close, on January 27th in Ann Arbor against Michigan.
Chad Adams in the chat said the Huskers are extremely talented, not the most athletic, but very talented. Yes, there's absolutely a difference there. And Coach Hoiberg has said that since he started telling us about this team back in the summer when he was getting on the floor with them then. We're not the most athletic. So we have to be good in some of these areas, like guarding and defensively, and how they are on the defensive end. But you're right. I mean, there's a very very big distinction between the two. They are absolutely very, very talented. They just are not maybe as athletic as some of the teams that they face, but they make up for it in so many other ways.
Yeah, I'm coming from a place that just won a national championship, so I've sort of seen the DNA of how it works. And the one thing that I'll say is you need veteran guard play. The way that you win in the NCAA tournament is veteran guard play. What does Nebraska have? They have a couple of really good veteran guards in Sam and Jamarcus. And then you have a veteran big that he is a difference maker in every single way.
You gotta have a veteran guard / forward / in ring.
Everything. Veteran defender. And then you have the younger. I mean, nobody thought, I don't think, Braden Frager would be this good this early, right? He's a younger guy, reclassified, came on campus as a 17-year-old, and he does not shy away from the big moment. And Price Sanford, he just gets better and better every single game. And you're telling me he's going to shy away from a big shot in March? You have guys that are willing to take big shots, make big plays in big moments, and you have a core that is old, and that is key for success in March.
I've chatted with Frager a few times, and he's never been one that's lacked in confidence, but he's doing what he's doing because of, I think in large part, a lot of what these older guys have instilled and believed in him, and they truly believe, and they know what he can do, and they have allowed for him to really even thrive even more because they know that they need him too, and so I think that's also what's neat that you don't always see, is that the belief that these older veteran guys have in the newbie in Frager, and I think that also instills a lot of confidence in a guy that is probably going to, I mean, we've seen it. He's as good as he's been. He's made a couple freshman mistakes, but he bounces right back so quickly because he's got those guys in his ear that are constantly, cheering him up, rooting for him, putting their arms around him, and also kind of coaching him and also holding him accountable. So I think it's just, it speaks to, you got guys that have played a lot of basketball, but then also the way they're bringing along a guy like Braden Frager.
Yeah, I was reminded today that Berkay was probably the highest ranked recruit on this roster, right? And he's willing to play a role.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy who can, If you need him to come off the bench, he will. If you need him to dive for a ball, he will. Defend at a high level, not get as many shots as he wants to. That is somebody that is a huge piece that just understands the role and plays it at a high level.
All right, going to get to a break. So coming up next, we're going to talk some Husker baseball. Ben McLaughlin, Dylan Carey, as we had a chance to get a conversation between those guys recorded last week. So we'll bring that to you here coming up next. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. We Talked a lot about it, but last week the Nebraska softball and baseball teams were here in the second floor area going through all of their media preparations for the upcoming seasons, and Ben McLaughlin was here to do a few things, and we put him to work. We had him do the interview with Dylan Carey, so wanted to bring that conversation to you now. By the way, Kyle shot it as Ben did the interview, so
you may see my thumb at one point.
or it might be shaking or cutting off some heads, but hey, we put them both to work. But here is that conversation with Ben and Dylan.
Ben McLaughlin here with Husker senior shortstop Dylan Carey Sr. How's that sound? Ben McLaughlin here with Husker senior. Ben McLaughlin here with Husker senior shortstop Dylan Carey Sr. How's that sound?
Senior, it's crazy. I've been here for 4 years. It's been nothing but a blessing, so just excited to be back for another year.
I remember when you were just a bright-eyed freshman, just thrown into the thick of things, third base. I saw the thing you did with Coach Bolt this week. It was really cool. I'm going to ask the same question he did to you about the growth and like where you were as Dylan Carey as an 18-year-old coming from Colorado to now. Where have you seen yourself kind of grow the most?
Yeah, for me personally, it's probably just maturity. I've been around a lot of Husker baseball players in my time, so just to see what they've done as players and as teammates of mine, I've been able to grow as a person and as a player. So maturity has been one thing that I've improved upon and gotten better with throughout my 4 years.
One thing that you're being asked to do now as an upperclassman is be a leader, and we're getting a lot more roster turnover year after year. How have you seen this group kind of come together? Because there's going to be a lot of new guys. I know there's a lot of older guys and experience on this team, but you're welcoming a whole new batch of Huskers. How has that been for you, welcoming in a whole new bunch of guys?
It's actually been pretty easy. We've had a lot of mature guys come in from other schools, whether it's Kevin Manell, Mississippi State. Like, he's a guy that's been around the game for a long time. Caleb Clark has been here for 4 years with me, Jalen as well. So just multiple guys that have been here for a long time, been in the game for a long time at the D1 level, so they know the ins and outs of the game and how to be leaders on this team. So it's been really nice with 26 new guys coming in. It's been actually really easy to transition with those guys and build the culture here. The maturity of this team is just top notch in my book. So,
what's been the perspective of you guys with last year? I mean, it's kind of an interesting year. We struggled really at the beginning, win straight 5 conference series, go on the awesome run in Omaha to win the Big Ten championship. I know things didn't end the way we wanted to in North Carolina, and that's probably left a little bit of a sour taste in everybody's mouth. But how have you guys kind of put last season in perspective and getting ready for this year?
Yeah, like you said, we started out rough, and in the back half of the season we came together. So just kind of having the conversation about how the pitchers and position players can reunite and be closer together. That's one thing we struggled with, was we didn't pick up our pitchers and they didn't pick us up every once in a while. So that's just something that we need to work together to get better at. At the end of the season last year we did. So just trying to start off the season like that this year is something that's very important to us and something I've already believed we're starting to do.
Talk to me about what was an emphasis for you. I mean, a lot of us expected last year to be your last year as a Husker. The way you projected at the next level, things didn't work out that way. Things always work out in the end, but I know that's put a chip on your shoulder. What's been your point of emphasis this year to get ready for February?
Yeah, for me personally, just working on my power, being able to hit the ball to all parks with exit velo being involved. That's been the main thing of this offseason, and I believe I've done that. I've improved upon that. This fall was great. Had a great fall with my numbers. Enjoyed seeing those numbers climb after having a great summer at Driveline and improving those things. So just excited to see what this year has to come for the Huskers, and it's going to be great.
Something we've come to know about you and really just Huskers in general under Coach Bolt, they're going to be good fielding teams, and he puts a lot of emphasis on defense, and we've seen that come into play multiple times. You're going to be breaking in a new middle infielder alongside of you. Talk to me about Jet and how kind of his development, and then passing your leadership on to him. And it's a jump in level, but as we know, he's got the tools.
Yeah, so Jet's been awesome. I'm actually roommates with Jet, so it's been pretty easy to transition into up the middle with him. He's got a great arm, which is one thing I really enjoy about Jet, is the double plays are going to be there for sure, and he's got a great glove as well. So being able to work with him the whole fall has been a lot of fun, and bouncing ideas off each other's heads. It's just been a blessing to be with him and have him as a roommate as well. So definitely excited to be up the middle with him.
As you guys know, we're not exactly easing into things in terms of difficulty of the schedule. First 3 weeks are going to be difficult, just like they are always. But what type of emphasis does that put on right now in practice, getting ready for that? Because we're not in Arizona, we're not in some of these warmer places that get to play outside all the time, but using those days to get better, to be ready when the bullets are flying here Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah, right. Every day counts. Got to be where your feet are. So practice starts Monday. got to take it one day at a time. And, it's either a 1 or a 0. So every day we can be a 1 is a win for us.
Talk to me about the schedule, though. I know you guys embrace that, right? Seeing those blue bloods on the schedule and seeing teams like Florida State and Auburn and obviously Stanford is another team that people are associated with college baseball. But how much you guys enjoy playing teams like that early?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to play the best because we want to be the best, right? So having the opportunity to play those teams early on just goes to show what type of team we are. We can compete with those guys, and we're excited to do that this year.
I always love asking this. We'll finish with this one. Who on the staff right now is giving you problems on the mound? Who should we watch out for that is doing good things on the mound, is giving the Husker hitters some tough times right now?
Yeah, I don't like to give credit to anyone, but Kevin Manell, he's a transfer I talked about earlier. He's got some interesting stuff because he throws from a low 3/4 slot. So the fastball's weird. It sinks like crazy, and then his slider's disgusting. So I'm excited to see what he has for us this year. But our staff's awesome. I'm excited for our whole team, group of guys as a whole. So just excited, yeah. DC,
appreciate it. We'll see you out in the Valley of the Sun here real soon. Thanks, man.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Great stuff there from Ben McLaughlin and Dylan Carey. We were joking. You're trying to get one of those shirts that Ben's wearing.
Yeah, he's got the Herbie Husker sweatshirt. I think I just might have to go to one of the Husker shops and just get one because I don't think it's coming my way.
You've been asking one.
I don't think that box is going to show up anytime soon.
Well, you heard Ben asking Dylan about the tough competition out of the gate, and D1 Baseball actually put out their top 25 this morning, and Ben quote tweeted it and put this out there that the Huskers will battle 2 preseason top 10 teams in the first 3 weeks of the season. It's just it is what this team does every year. They really challenge themselves out of the gate to help out with that RPI, and got 2 big opportunities here to start the season.
Yeah, just looking through it, starting some of the prep for some of the games I'll do. It's a lot of newcomers that are coming in here. They have a couple of new pitchers that I know they're really high on. For them, like you said, tough competition out of the chute. You have Louisville. You're going to have Florida State early on. You have a 3-game series. I think Auburn's a top 10 preseason team. You'll have them for 3 on the road. You have to go to these warm places to play some of these games to start the year. But they're in a couple of these tournaments that are really, really tough. But like you said, this is how you situate it because you want your team ready for Big Ten play.
Good stuff there. Appreciate Ben helping us out and grabbing that interview last week for us. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes to finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome back. Final segment here of hour number 1 of Sports Nightly before Kyle will take things over for Nebraska men's basketball hour coming off the big win at Indiana. Carla, one of our favorite texters on the Sports Nightly hotline, texted in and said, "Good evening, Sports Nightlies. What a joy the Husker basketball teams are to watch. I know the women had a tough time yesterday, but they are still fun to watch." Amen. They definitely are. And Sam Hoiberg, I refer to him as, quote, the Gnat. He is a constant irritant on defense and always plus on offense. I love watching the guys. They just keep on keeping on. GBR. Thanks, Carla.
Most times you get called Gnat. It's not a good thing. But in this case, it's a good thing. Sam Hoiberg is indeed a Gnat. A Gnat you can't swipe away.
We'll have to tell him that next time we talk to him. But, yeah, I agree. And the women, they just a little outmatched yesterday. UCLA is a team that very well could be competing for a national title this year. And they're big, they're physical, and just a tough matchup for Nebraska. But they'll get back on the win column, and hey, they got another big opportunity, another top 25 matchup. How many is that here in January? 4 of the 5?
Yeah,
right?
I think Big Ten has one more top 25, might have changed, than the SEC.
But Huskers have seen all of them. Well, a lot of them. Iowa, USC, UCLA, and now Michigan State.
Iowa was down double figures to Indiana, who Nebraska just beat on their home floor. I think they came back to win, though. But going back to yesterday, we said Nebraska probably had to hit 14 threes to win a game like that when you're outsized. Betts is just, I mean, she is what she is. It's really hard to guard her.
And everybody has problems with her.
The thing is, the way you set up a team like that, you double and triple team Lauren Betts, and then you have shooters on the outside. And for them, they were able to hit 9 threes. That's a recipe for disaster. You shot sub 40% yesterday, and they shot nearly 50%. They control the paint. Pretty much doubled up the Huskers in terms of paint points, which that's what you thought was going to be the case, but you had to find a way to hit a large amount of threes. You just could not find a way to be consistent from the outside, but it is what it is. It's a top 5 team that probably has a chance to be at least a Final Four at minimum and an Elite 8 type of team, so you learn from it and move on.
Despite the loss, Huskers still move up in the top 25 rankings.
Yeah, how about that?
So the women up to number 24, the men up to number 8. So big news there. That poll moves on Mondays. But coming up on Thursday at number 15, Michigan State, 6 o'clock. So we'll have the call for you right here on the Huskers Radio Network at 5:30. We should probably try to get Coat on this week.
Yeah, you had him on. You did an interview with him for social. That was good, and love to have him on.
We need to get him on Sports Nightly, maybe Wednesday.
Talk some hoops. Talk anything. You can talk anything with Coat.
Anything.
That's the good thing. Is he can go
He's
anywhere
the jack
you
of
want.
all trades.
But nobody knows that program better than him.
Yeah. So we'll try to. Jeff Greash and him both are just like a walking encyclopedia, not just with Nebraska women's basketball, but with women's basketball.
I think I saw in the game notes this is their 25th consecutive year together.
Okay, but I think Coatney's been on the
he's
year.
been a little longer. But those two together,
Yeah.
This is their 25th straight year.
Man, so what is that?
Silver
Silver anniversary?
Silver
Silver
anniversary.
anniversary. I'm surprised I knew that, but
Should get him a cake or something. 25 years. I mean, that's significant. That's a milestone.
yeah, no, it absolutely is. But yeah, good stuff. We will work on getting Coatney on later on this week, and I know we talked about maybe getting DB on at some point too, so we'll try to get the whole gang on. We had Ben on tonight. Get Coatney.
right.
Maybe try to get DB.
Nobody
on.
is safe. Everybody will be hearing from us.
All right, that's going to do it here for hour number 1. Coming up next, we have our Nebraska men's basketball hour. Lots to dive into.
Luca Virgilio.
Virgilio. Luca, he is one of the MVPs for this Nebraska men's basketball staff, so get a chance to chat with him and dive into all things, the things that go into kind of making this thing go behind the scenes. And also, I had a chance to chat with Charlie Hoiberg, so keep it here. Whole nother hour of Sports Nightly up next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset. These trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
It's time for the Nebraska Men's Basketball Coaches Show.
Dribbles left-handed dribble. Climbing up underneath him is Wilkerson. He drives to the right side, rubs a man off, over to Mast, puts up the three. Got it! Holy cow! Mast puts it up and in, and Nebraska's up by 9. Rico down on the right side with the ball as Frager drives the ball, puts it up, dunks it! Frager, the finisher! Dunks that puppy home, and Huskers with 1:07 to go, 82-73, up by 9. About to go 16-0 on the year, 10th ranked in the country. Enright to DeFreeze, 3-ball, no. Rebound to Mast. Mast gives to Jamar. Am I living a dream? Free throw up, and it's no good, and the rebound to Sanford, and the Huskers are going to win this one. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Sanford's not going to be fouled, and it is over. It is over. Nebraska on the road goes 16-0. 5-0 in the conference, knocking off Indiana 83-77. Basketball School 83. Football School 77. Rename the movie. It ain't the Hoosiers, it's the Huskers.
Now, here's your host, Kyle Crooks, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome into the Nebraska Basketball Show. Have a very special episode for you as we're talking Nebraska hoops. No better time to talk Nebraska hoops as well, as the Huskers remain unbeaten going into Bloomington, getting a huge win over Indiana as they move up the AP poll as well, 8th in the country, matching the best and highest AP ranking in program history. With that, we welcome you inside, Kyle Crooks, and we have a special guest, General Manager of Husker Hoops, Luca Virgilio. Am I saying that correctly? Last name? I wanted to get the Italian twist to it, though. Is it Virgilio? Does that sound better to you?
No, it's good. Virgilio.
Okay.
Yeah,
you don't want me to try too hard on the Italian.
No, it's good.
There.
I like it.
I'm like half Italian, so I figured I'd make it work for me. Luca, this team continues to do what it does, and that's be successful, win games. Big reason why is, and we'll get into your role and what you do, but the players that and the team that you've helped assemble here, you know, how was the road trip to Bloomington? It just seems like this team continues to find a way.
Yeah, it was a fun trip, I'll tell you that much. That pizza after the game tasted really good.
What kind of pizza did we have after the game?
I think it was just a regular pepperoni. But
pepperoni
yeah,
from Indiana, though. I don't know if it's like Italy.
It's okay. It tasted good, man.
Okay.
I'll tell you that. It was a fun trip. I love Bloomington. It's always fun to go there. It's a nice college town. There was a lot of excitement the night before the game because of course, football. But it was a great game. I think our guys played with a lot of character and poise in the second half. You know, when you are in the position that we are right now and you're down 16 in the second half, you can feel maybe that the game is just going to go away and you're not going to be able to get it back. But they found a way. They fought, they kept their composure, and they executed the game plan offensively and defensively. So a lot of credit to our players and staff for getting that win.
It's unique nowadays, and you deal with the transfer portal and having a veteran team, a team that's connected. It's not a guarantee nowadays because you have guys that come in, leave a program, and, you know, Jamarcus Lawrence's case, he leaves the program, comes back a mature, better player than he left. But when you look at how unique, almost a unicorn-like team that we see in Nebraska with guys that have helped build a foundation, have stuck around, an older guy like Rick Mass who comes back from injury almost better. When you look at this team, it's very rare, isn't it, now in the transfer portal era, what you got out of this team?
Yes, it is. But I think that was the main priority for us last offseason. It was retention. That's a key word for us, keeping the guys that we want to keep here in Lincoln to play for us. And, you know, bringing back Jamarcus was a huge plus for us because he's a guy that knows our system. He played in it for 2 years. He left, comes back, and yeah, probably his best game of his career at Indiana, career high in points, but just the way he controlled the game was extremely impressive. And then, of course, you bring him back Rink Mass that didn't play last year, but has been in our program for 3 years. And all these things really matters in this day and age. I think we have the second highest retention minutes in the Big Ten, which that's why we're having a good season so far. Having Sam, of course, it's big time because he's been in our program for a long time, you know. And Berke has been in our program for 2 years. Connor has been in our program for 2 years. Cale Jacobson has been in our program for a long time. and there is a familiarity between them and between the players and the staff, and that really helps you, especially at the beginning, because you're not trying to build something completely new for them, but you're building on something that is already there. And I think that's why we're having success.
So with that, in the offseason, in your role as the general manager, I would assume point one for you and the number one bullet point is retention.
Correct.
That word of making sure that as long as they're eligible to play and they're playing here with Nebraska, you want to get those guys back because they know the culture.
Correct. That's exactly correct. And the culture that we've been able to build is because of the players that we have in our program. So we want to keep them here and make sure they keep staying here so that we can keep winning.
Can you take me through the process of Jamarcus Lawrence and his thought of coming back here to Nebraska? How does that go? Because it's unique. You don't see that every day. Every once in a while, especially now, you'll see a guy come back to where he originally was from, and you get the sense grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
So what was Jamarcus's process like to come back here to Lincoln?
Well, I think Jamarcus matured a lot since the moment he stepped on campus the first time. He was a young kid when he got to Nebraska the first time around with a lot of things to learn. He wasn't very vocal. He had 2 good years for us. He was part of that team that made the NCAA tournament 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He played some great games. Actually, I was thinking about it before we played at Indiana this past week, and I remember him scoring 5 threes at Indiana that year as well. And when he became available in the portal, it was a no-brainer for us to reach out right away because we know who Jamarcus is and what he does on the floor, but also the intangibles. Because Jamarcus is an amazing teammate and an amazing guy to have in your locker room. When he decided to leave, it was his decision to do so because he wanted to try something different. And in this world, there is nothing wrong with that. But for him to understand that the best thing for him was to come back, that takes a lot of maturity. And of course, we're very happy to welcome him back because, again, he's a guy that played in our system, that knows how we do things. And it was a very easy transition for him to jump back into our system offensively and defensively.
And when you look at the roster and the makeup of it, and a couple of guys that are just huge in terms of this team's success, whether it's Frager or Kale Jacobson, the local aspect of getting guys from Nebraska, I don't necessarily know if that's at the top of the list of most important, but getting somebody who understands Nebraska, who wants to be here, that's pretty important too, isn't it?
It is extremely important for us. That's why it's special to me to see Braden having so much success. And Braden was a priority for us when he was in high school. And a lot of credit goes to Coach Fred and Coach Nate because they made him a priority. And when he decided to, come in early and reclass, I thought he made a fantastic decision for his basketball career, and now it's just, you can see it because it takes a lot of, Braden is a young kid, but Braden is very mature when it comes to making the right decisions for his basketball career, and it took a lot of him to just make the commitment of coming in and not playing year one, and he developed a lot. His body changed, his mentality changed, and he learned a lot last year. And that's why he's not your usual freshman, because there is not a lot of freshmen in the country that can do what he's doing right now. But I think that full year where he was sitting out really helped him doing what he's doing for us this season.
You think of the big plays that he made down the stretch, and he's made this entire season, but especially in the game against Indiana, I think of the offensive rebound, reaching over and the stick back, and just some of the big plays he continues to make. And Kale Jacobson just plays his role. The more minutes he plays, it seems to, when you look at that plus-minus statistic, Kale's always on that plus side of it. Those two guys, but Braden, did you expect that he would take this kind of jump here, being so young as he is?
We saw some flashes last year when he was sitting out. We had internal conversation about pulling that redshirt mid-year when we were struggling a little bit. That's no secret, and we decided not to because it wasn't the best thing for Braden's career. And, Coach Fred is always really high on that as a priority. But what he did in practice last year made us very comfortable that he would have a huge impact for us right away during his freshman campaign, yes.
So how did Nebraska come about for you? Let's talk about your journey a little bit. We were talking before we went live, but you spent some time at St. John's in their basketball program, have the Italian background, and here you are in Lincoln, Nebraska, right from the big city to Lincoln, Nebraska. you've seen the passion here for college basketball,
Yes.
especially this year. And there's a lot of sellouts down the road here for the games remaining at PBA. How did it come about for you to get here to Lincoln?
Well, it's a funny story because when I was at St. John's in the Big East, you play Creighton in Omaha, and I didn't know about Nebraska, to be honest, because born and raised in Italy, moved to New York, and it's all new for me. And I was always fascinated when we were traveling to Omaha to play, and I never thought in my life I'd be living in Nebraska. But then the opportunity presented itself when I was at the end of my run at St. John's to work for Coach Fred, and I didn't have to think twice because of the vision that he had for this program at the time, and we're seeing the results now. And it's been a pretty incredible ride for me. This is my 7th year, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that Coach gave me at the beginning. And we're very excited where this program is going to go from here on out.
How different is your day-to-day, just living-wise, from Manhattan and playing at the Garden and things like that, and just the hustle and bustle of the city to living in Lincoln, Nebraska?
Well, definitely there's no traffic here, which is great.
I like it.
I love that.
Unless there's some construction or something, which seems is always the case here in Lincoln.
Yes, but not as bad as New York.
Right.
But the biggest adjustment was that everything is so calm and relaxed and quiet. Like, I remember the first couple of nights that I was sleeping in Lincoln and I was living downtown at first, I wasn't able to sleep because it was too quiet. and it was like one of those, and my wife was saying the same thing. It's like there is no noises out the window. That it's completely quiet. It's incredible. But then you get used to it and you love it. And we fell in love with Lincoln and the community. It's such a special place, and we're so excited to be here. We love it. We have a young son that is going to turn 3 soon, and there is no better place to raise a family than Lincoln, to be honest.
Sometimes quiet is a good thing, and this is a really, really good college town. It's not quiet on game days, football game days, basketball game days, but that's the good kind of noise that we like. The Nebraska Men's Basketball Coaches Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, where people don't have your money has people. We continue on the Nebraska Basketball Show, chatting with the Husker General Manager for Men's Hoops, Luca Virgilio, and more of the show right after this.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes to finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Think a bunch of IT gurus would have anything in common with a dominant college volleyball team? Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of Applied Connective, serving Nebraska businesses for nearly 20 years. We're proud to have a few things in common with our beloved Huskers, namely that we're also a group of hardworking and highly skilled individuals that make up one dynamic team. From our IT and cybersecurity all-stars to our phone, physical security, infrastructure, and audio-video pros, we're one team that can expertly manage all your technologies. Discover why it's a game changer to partner with us at appliedconnective.com. And as always, go Big Red.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes to finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
Contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. Nebraska Basketball Show. Kyle Crooks back with you. Luca Virgilio is in studio. The general manager of Husker Men's Hoops, number 8 in the newest AP poll. I know Fred, and I brought this phrase up that Nick Saban always uses, but rat poison when it comes to just all these things that haven't been done in a long time or ever in Husker basketball history. It seems like this team, they've embraced the expectations now, being the hunted as opposed to being the hunter. How do you feel like as a veteran team with everything that surrounds Nebraska now being a top 10 team, how they've dealt with everything?
Well, I think it's great for the community, it's great for the fans, to see that number next to Nebraska men's basketball. I think this community and these fans deserve it. Our guys have been locked in on the mission from the beginning. And kudos to them because it's not easy. But they've been focused from the beginning on what's next. What's the next game? What's the next opponent? What's the next mission? And that's been great. You need to keep the noise out because if you just sit for a second and look around and you start listening to all the good things that they're saying about us, like you said, is not going to be good for our locker room. But we're old, we're experienced. We have guys that have been through it before, and we know that we cannot relax 1 second. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. So we're focused on Oregon tomorrow night, and then after Oregon, we're going to be focusing on the next game, and we're going to focus on that.
Yeah, I think what's interesting too, Luca, about the commentary of Nebraska basketball, because nobody expected it, and the precedent, the history isn't necessarily there. When you guys are down 16 in the second half, everyone is quick to say, oh, I told you, Nebraska isn't what everyone thought Nebraska is. And then all of a sudden they win the game and then everyone's just speechless once again. But everyone continues to wait for this team to fold under the pressure of what has been created out there. And the fans are along for the ride. How about the buzz inside PBA? Another sellout tomorrow against Oregon, which should be a really good opponent. You know how tough this league is. But how, it's always been there, the interest and the passion for Nebraska basketball.
Yeah, I mean, our fans are amazing. And I was just talking with our ticket office this morning about what to expect for the last, I think we have 8 games left at home. 6 are sellouts. I think we got 150 tickets left for Washington and a little bit over 700 for Maryland at the end of February. And that's incredible. And we're going to need all our fans to complete the mission because we got to protect home court. That's something that we talked about with our team a lot during the year. We got to win our home games to have a chance in this league because you said it's really hard. Our league doesn't have easy games. And we did a good job so far, being 5-0, winning 3 games on the road. But protecting home court is extremely important. And PBA is incredibly loud. And it's always been, but I never seen anything like that, like the Michigan State game When the Michigan State player was about to shoot that free throw, I was like, there is no way he's going to make it. It's so loud. And I couldn't see anything because I'm short and I had 2 7-foot tall guys next to me. So I had to jump on the seat to see the free throw. And I was like, there's no way this guy's going to make it. And he missed it. But it was incredibly loud. And it was loud the entire game.
Yeah.
That's the thing about like PBA Big Ten games is like the crowd is going to be amazing the entire game. And it's so hard to win on the road in the Big Ten. And if our crowd is going to do that every game, we're going to have a chance against anybody in the country at PBA.
I know there's some elite environments, Purdue, Michigan State come to mind within the league, but Illinois, I believe it was snowy that day, so maybe hurt some of the crowd. How was Assembly Hall, the environment there?
I think it was a little bit of a sleepy crowd.
Yeah, I can imagine. The parties the night. How was the sleep in the hotel? Was it disrupted because of the parties on the streets?
Good, but other people told me that it was pretty wild out there, and the noise was loud. But yeah, it was definitely a sleepy crowd, especially at the beginning of the first half. Then Indiana went on a little bit of a run at the end of the first half, and the arena was awake. But yeah, I mean, there is so many great venues in the Big Ten, and the crowds are always going to play a role. I think it's hard to beat PBA, and this is not just me saying it. It's when you talk to other coaches in the league, they're always going to bring that up. It gets all out at PBA. Nobody wants to come and play in Lincoln. You know, it's hard to win. I mean, that's because of what our guys are doing on the floor, but also because our fans are going to be there, are going to be there early, are going to be there loud. They're not going to leave with 5 minutes on the clock. They're going to be there until the end, and that's going to really help us.
Your job is to evaluate talent, and when you evaluate a guy like Sam Hoiberg, the tangibles don't pop off the page, right? It's, size and what you'd expect maybe out of a Big Ten guard. But he plays more than big enough and strong enough. When you watch him play and how he defies maybe the frame and what you'd expect somebody of that size to play at the Big Ten and the way that he actually plays, what's your evaluation of a player like Sam Hoiberg?
Well, you cannot measure heart. You know what I'm saying? And he's our champion. He's the guy that is always going to show up, that is going to be there every day. He's going to bring everybody together in the locker room. He's going to make sure that every practice goes the way it's supposed to be. He's going to bring intensity. He's going to bring energy. And on game days, he's just phenomenal. We know we played so many good guards, and we don't have to worry about it necessarily from a matchup standpoint because we have Sam. And Sam is going to be relentless on the ball. He's going to be alert off ball. He's going to be able to help his teammates if they're not in position. And offensively, he's been phenomenal this year. His assist-to-turnover ratio, I think, is first, second, or third in the country. I didn't check this morning. It was second, I think, yesterday. And if you think about it, that's incredible. Because the way he's running our offense, you don't even see him out there because you look at the numbers and the stats and you might not notice like the points or anything else, but he's there. And he rebounds the ball. He had a couple of games in the Big Ten where he got 8 or 9 rebounds of 5'11". And you don't do that if you're not special. He's special, and he's the engine that makes everything work with Rink on our team.
You know what's interesting, too, is you have a group of guys that are willing to play a role. A Jared Garcia off the bench that comes in and, he always seems to make an impact play off the bench. And I could think of a Kale Jacobson, a Bear K. When they come in, they make impact plays, and they're maybe not sitting complaining about their role. Is that a difference maker for this team in the transactional way in which rosters come about now? Everyone wants to be the star. Everyone wants to be the biggest part of any team. But this group doesn't seem like it's ultra transactional. These guys know their role.
Yes, and I think that comes from the honest conversations that we had with them in the offseason, being fully transparent with each one of them on what their role is going to be. Of course, things can change during the year, but I think we made an effort in being pretty transparent with them on what the expectations were for each one of them, and I think that really helped. You mentioned 3 guys. I mean, Jared's game at Illinois was incredible. Without Jared, we don't win that game. I think he scored 10 points in the second half. There's 2 games that come to mind when you think about Kale. The game against Oklahoma at the Pentagon, it was incredible. And even against Indiana this past game, he had 5 points in the first half, but the poise he played with and the ability to move defensively was incredible. And Berke improved so much in the offseason. He really worked on his body, and now is everywhere defensively. And he's been making shots. I think he's shooting 50% from 3 in the last 6 games. And a lot of the plays that these guys make don't end up on on the box score. Like if you think about this past game against Indiana, Berke has a block and a deflection, and then he keeps the ball on the floor, and Jamarcus makes a three to tie the game on the other end. And they didn't give him a block, but we saw that, and the opponent saw that, and that changed the game.
Mm-hmm. You know, the dynamic between the coaching staff, specifically Fred and Nate, and what Nate's done defensively, you guys have been a plus defensive team. When you see what Nate's done on that side of the ball, and you're on the bench and you see the interactions, what's maybe a Nate Lenzer's importance to a team and the run that you guys have been on?
Well, Nate is a basketball genius in my mind. You know, he's been working on this defense since the moment he got on campus. And it's not an easy system to install. You need to have the right players, you need to have the right personnel to do it. And I think this year everything has been clicking at a really high level. And Nate is relentless. And he does it because he wants to see the players successful. And he's not going to give you a pass or a day off because we won 15, 16 games in a row. Today we had a practice. It was a really hard practice. And he was yelling at everybody left and right to make sure that they were on point. Every film session after a win, we're not going to skip the clips where you made a mistake. No, we want to correct those mistakes to make sure we don't make them again because we're striving for perfection. And a lot of that is because of who Nate is and intensity and passion that he brings every day to practice. We wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for the contribution that he's had on our program.
What are the in-game huddles like? Maybe take me second half against Indiana, down 16 in that huddle. What is it like? Is it calm, poised? I assume it is with Fred, just seeing his demeanor.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of credit to our guys. We didn't lose any focus or composure during that stretch because Indiana was hitting some tough shots, especially early in the second half. But we always go back to our principles. And if we stick to those principles, at some point the game is going to turn. Our defense didn't overreact because they made a couple of tough shots. We kept doing what we were doing, and during our huddles, that's what we were stressing. We need to keep doing what we're doing defensively. At some point, we're going to get some steals because they're going to get tired, and that's what happened. And offensively, we got to have a little more flow and a little more power. Keep moving the ball and find the open guy. And that's why I think our team offensively is special and really good, is because it's never the same guy every game. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be a different guy. One time it's going to be Rink, one time it's going to be Price, one time it's going to be Jamarcus, one time it's going to be Sam, one time it's going to be Jared, Berke. It doesn't matter, but our offense is going to find the guy that is hot, and is going to find the guy that is having a good game. And that's what we did against Indiana. It was Jamarcus' turn, but everything was fueled by our defense getting stops and running in transition.
Yeah, just chipping away down the stretch, and it's all lended itself to a 16-0 start, 5-0 here in the Big Ten. Just incredible start. Oregon is at PBA tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I want to dive into more about Luka's role because, as you know, transfer portal is a huge part of college sports, and that is the man that has a lot of those conversations for Huskers men's basketball. So Luka Virgilio is our guest for another segment. We'll also have Charlie Hoiberg, who's a graduate manager for the team, and with Jessica Coody, they sat down for a conversation. So that'll be the final segment of the show. Still more to do. Stick with us.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. with handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no peace of mind like knowing you have a dedicated team of technology experts working for your business around the clock. Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of tech company Applied Connective. It's a privilege to serve our great state for nearly 2 decades now with managed IT, cybersecurity, phone systems, physical security, and audio-video solutions. Our team understands the importance of fitting you with the right technologies to help your business perform at its peak potential all day, every day. Discover more at appliedconnective.com and go Big Red.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes to finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs Solutions for every field. Back here on the Nebraska Basketball Show with Luca Virgilio, the general manager of Husker Men's Hoops. I'm Kyle Crooks, and we're happy that you can join us tonight talking about a 16-0 Husker basketball team. But I mentioned you're the GM, and a lot of people want to know how the sausage is made, and it can get pretty crazy nowadays. If you've been following the football transfer portal over these last few weeks, you understand how crazy it is. And in men's basketball, I assume it's more of the same. This is a 24/7, 365 evaluating talent, continuing to get ahead on future rosters. Take people into just how hectic your job is on a day-to-day basis, Luca.
It is. It's a lot of watching games, watching film, making sure you know exactly what's going on in our business, and is changing so fast and so much so quickly. With the NIL and rev share, everything it changed so much in the last 2 or 3 years. But to me, it's a great challenge. I love it. It's very hectic, but that's why I like it. And we have a great staff, and we work really well together in sharing the vision of what our roster is looking like right now, and what it's going to have to look like next year again to be competitive. Again, I see myself as somebody that is putting together a puzzle and making sure that all the pieces are fitting well together. Is not just about, basketball numbers. It's also about character. It's also about who you are as a person. Because again, we talked about our culture, and that's extremely important to us and to Coach Fred. And, you need to make sure you're finding the right guys that are going to work well on the floor, because they fit what we're trying to do from a basketball standpoint, but they also have to fit off the floor to make sure from a character standpoint they are players that we want to represent the University of Nebraska. Obviously, we want to play one-on-one, and then you're going to have to make a decision. So having the intel, it's extremely important for you to make that decision and make the right one.
So part of your everyday is watching, evaluating players, and you have a staff that helps you. Take me through the process. So you evaluate a player and then bring it up to the staff and to Fred, and then you get the yay or nay from there as to moving forward on player A?
Correct. Yeah, it's a lot of watching film for sure. It's a lot of talking with people in the business, with your network, because that's what is going to make a difference. It's a global game, so there might be another Casey Tominaga somewhere in the world that nobody knows about, and you want to be the one that gets there first. And you always want to have another set of eyes watching film, because they might see something that you haven't seen yet or that you didn't notice, and that's why we have a great staff and we work very well together on sharing ideas and sharing a vision that at the end of the day is going to be Coach Hoiberg's vision. So our job is to find players that are going to fit that vision. And I've been lucky enough to work for him for 7 years, and I learned exactly what type of players he likes from a basketball standpoint, but also, again, from a character standpoint. And I can tell you very easily if a player is going to be successful or not here based on my previous experience working for him, and especially seeing players that have been successful or not in our program.
Is it tough for it not to be transactional at times, because you understand that some guys might not play at that next level and they want to be able to make as much as they can here in college with NIL deals, and we know how the world of college is now, but how do you try to make sure that in the end it's not that transactional, even though it's kind of baked in the DNA of what we're doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, the business changed, so you kind of have to adjust to that a little bit. But you also, I think, it's a very thin line when you want to balance basketball and character, and making sure that if those two things are the way we want it to be, we can live with that. So, yes, it is transactional, but it's part of the game. So you're just going to have to maximize that piece into the whole equation.
How much are you looking internationally? Like you said, it's a gold mine.
Yeah, it is. We're not necessarily looking at that more than other places. We're looking at transfers whenever the portal is going to open. We're looking at high school kids. We're looking at junior college kids. We're looking at internationals. There is pros now that can play in college if they're cleared by the NCAA. So the market is gigantic, and you just gotta have to be ready for whatever presents itself and go get the opportunity. So that's where the research behind it is extremely important, because you got to know what you need and you got to know exactly what you want, because that's what is going to make the difference when you have 5 different options. Say you have one day to make a decision out of 5 options. You want to make the right one, and just the information that you have available is going to make the difference between a good decision and a bad decision.
Yeah, it's clear you guys value high school recruiting. Nowadays, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, guys can survive out of the portal. How do you view high school recruiting and where it's at now? Maybe not necessarily here with the Huskers, but as a whole, and the importance to high school recruiting for college basketball.
Well, I think you need to find the right ones. You need to find guys that are understanding of how much the business changed and how much the culture in college basketball changed, because it's really hard to come in as a high school kid and play right away. But if you find the right one that are willing to commit themselves to a process, which could last a month, could last 6 months, could last a year, could last 2 years, as long as there is a transparent conversation of what the vision is for that specific player, I think there is a lot of value in high school recruiting, because that's going to help you build the backbone of your program. And, once again, Braden Frager is a great example, him coming in and us having a transparent conversation of what the process is going to look like for him, and him understanding that and buying into that. That is also what we see today. But that process started 2 years ago. Everybody's seeing the results today, but that process didn't start yesterday. It started 2 years ago. And that's extremely important.
What's that perfect player from a basketball standpoint in Coach Hoiberg's system? What does that look like for you?
Basketball IQ plays a big role, just because our system offensively and defensively requires you to have a high basketball IQ to make quick decisions. You have to be tough to play in the Big Ten. Toughness is extremely important. You have to be tough. You have to have basketball IQ. And, if you can shoot the ball, you're going to be successful here. Yeah. So we try to put guys out there that can shoot the ball, because that's going to open up our offense. But at the same time, the basketball IQ goes offensively and defensively, because, you look at a roster, we might not be the most athletic team, but our defense looks pretty good because of our guys understanding exactly where to be and when to be in those spots during a game.
Looking ahead now, Oregon coming up tomorrow should be a really good crowd. Got a chance to watch some of their game against Rutgers. We see how tough the Big Ten is. Wisconsin knocked off Michigan on the road. When you see some of those results, probably not all that surprising, but Oregon comes to town. It's probably going to be a really tough test, isn't it?
It's going to be. Oregon is one of the most talented teams in our league. They're very big. They play 3 bigs together, and that's what they've been doing the last couple of games. You know, they start Evans at the 3, 6'10", Stewart 6'9", and then Beadle at 7'1". So that's going to be a big challenge for us. We're going to have to be physical. We're going to have to execute defensively and offensively. Every game is going to be a massive challenge for us. We cannot enjoy the moment because there is another challenge waiting for us, and Oregon is going to be a big one for us tomorrow night.
You know, we started the conversation talking about the pizza that you had coming back from Bloomington. What's the best slice that you've had here in Lincoln?
Oof, that's a good question. That's a good one. Well, I would say Lazari's.
Okay, I'm getting Camden shaking his head back there saying yes, good choice.
But the one downtown, I don't think it's open anymore. And then I would say Yaya's. Yaya's is good, yes. Okay. Yaya's is good. And some of our players, too, would agree that Yaya's is probably top 1 or 2 in Lincoln for pizza. So, yeah, that's my vote. Yeah, that's my vote, yeah.
Okay, I like that. And I was watching last night the video you did with Virginia Adriano of the volleyball team, just having a little Italian chat. How was that?
That was great. She's the best.
Yeah.
We were actually just getting lunch together at training table. She just came back from Italy, and we're just talking about how great it was for her to be back home, and she's extremely excited for this volleyball season to start. It's just great to have Italians around here in Lincoln, and we've been watching with my family Virginia's games every game. And it's amazing. She's the best.
Basketball can bring you places, and for you, from Italy to New York, from Queens, New York to Lincoln, Nebraska, you've been all over the place. Luca Virgilio, General Manager of Husker Men's Hoops. We appreciate the time and continued success with what you guys have going.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great stuff from Luca. We continue on the Nebraska Basketball Show. Charlie Hoiberg sits down with Jessica Coody. That's next.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Final segment of the Nebraska Basketball Show. Happy that you can join us. Appreciate Luca Virgilio, GM of Husker Men's Hoops, for joining us for the first 3 segments. Have a special chat with Charlie Hoiberg coming up, graduate manager Of course, his twin brother Sam having an incredible year. His dad Fred Hoiberg is up for possibly National Coach of the Year when it's all said and done. Big game coming up tomorrow night against Oregon, 7 p.m. Central start to our pregame. Just looking at some of the numbers for the Ducks, yeah, they have a lot of talent. They've had some issues with turning the ball over this year. Their turnover margins near the bottom in the Big Ten. In terms of scoring offense, they're only about 15th in the Big Ten, but don't let that fool you. This is a team that is incredibly talented and will play in PBA in front of a sold-out crowd coming up. But coming up here on the show, we have a chance to chat with Charlie Hoiberg. Jessica Coody had a chance to chat with him.
All right, here with Charlie Hoiberg. Well, how has this year been for you? How much fun are you having?
It's been great. I mean, it's just been really fun to be back home in Lincoln, first off, just being with my family, especially being around my brother and my dad every day, but getting to see my mom all the time, too, has been really fun. And on top of that, we've obviously had a good start to the year. So, yeah, it's been great being home.
Can you confirm or deny you're the reason why this team is unbeaten this year? You joined the staff and they haven't lost.
Well, the record says that we're undefeated, but I'm not going to take any of the credit for it. It's been a really good year of learning for me. I get to learn from some of the best in the country, whether it's my dad, Coach Nate, the other assistants, but also the guys in the video room like Michael Bania, Peyton Borders, Justin Moore, and everyone on the staff. So I'm not going to take any credit for it, but it's been fun to be a part of this so far.
Take us into your decision to want to be involved in as a graduate assistant and why you wanted to make that move now going into this year.
A big reason why I wanted to get into it was because a couple years ago with that Sam Griesel, Derek Walker team, we really started turning this ship around here. When I went to school at TCU, I never really thought I wanted to get into coaching. But then things started going better. I was like, okay, maybe I do think this is something I might want to do, which might not be the best way to look at it because there are highs and lows and everything, but especially coaching. But then I realized I kind of wanted to get into it. And then I was a manager at TCU, and I just wanted to see like if I liked being around it every day, if I had that love for it and thought it was something I wanted to pursue. And ultimately it was. And so far it's been a great decision. I've been loving it.
Grew up a coach's kid. What have you learned about, I mean, you talked about all the different guys that you've been able to learn for on the staff. What have you learned being, I guess, on the other side of it other than just growing up with it and then playing it?
Well, for one, it's a lot more complicated than a lot of people would think. When you're a fan on the sideline, you see some things. Even if you played growing up, you see some things. But there's so much that goes into it. And not playing in college, I was behind a little bit on that, I would say, especially compared to other people who did play, who are into coaching now. But you pick up on things quick. I think being a coach's kid, I had some of that basketball IQ when I played in high school and growing up, and being able to translate that into now learning everything on the X's and O's side even more in depth has been something that I feel like I've been able to do pretty well and hopefully will apply in my future endeavors as coaching.
Some of the plays that your dad draws up, did you realize how good he was at it growing up, or have you even found a new, even bigger appreciation for some of the things he's able to cook up?
Well, I think I always knew because that's what people said, like, oh, he's one of the best offensive minds in the world. So I always knew it, and you could see it by results, but I never knew what was going on behind the scenes and what they were exactly. But yeah, 100% being a part of it, knowing everything how he thinks, like the little wrinkles that he has and all that, it's pretty unbelievable to see, and it's something that I've learned and started to pick up on myself. But yeah, he definitely is an offensive genius, and seeing the plays that he runs is pretty impressive.
How about Sam's growth? What have you seen in him from, just growing up playing with him to the kind of impact he's able to have now here in this season?
Well, Sam's always been a great player, obviously. Very smart, played hard his whole life. Growing up, he was always a lead scorer guy. And then when he came to Nebraska, we didn't know when he walked on if he was going to ever carve out a role. Eventually he got that opportunity, being the glue guy, which he still is today, but playing gritty defense and making all the hustle plays, which is something that he always did, but he also had that edge to him as a scorer and passer and creator. And he always has had that in him. And then this year, I think one of the things I've really tried to do is make him believe that again, is like, listen, you've always been a scorer. You've always been a great shooter. Know that on top of all the hustle and defense that you do, which is your MO, which you're going to make your money doing. But on top of that, you can score and create for others, and he's done an unbelievable job at it this year.
You just were here. He was the last person to leave the floor. You were rebounding for him. How's that being in that role where you're kind of helping him continue to prepare and get better every day?
It's been great. I mean, one thing with Sam is he can get in his head a little bit, especially with his jump shot, and just keeping him confident is huge. And I think I know his brain better than anybody just because I've been with him my entire life, obviously. But just helping him stay confident. And he's going to get in here and be in the gym. I don't have to help him with that. But keeping his mental side right of it is something that I like to help do. And I feel like I have helped so far this year.
Besides just that and the role that you've helped with Sam, what did you hope to bring to what your role is here within the staff?
Yeah, well, I feel like as a GA, you can kind of find your niche a little bit. But first off, just bringing a hardworking edge. Like a lot of people, if you come in, the way you're not going to be a good GA is if you're not working at it. You got to be in it here, putting in time and actually like working at it when you're in the office. But I knew I was going to be able to help Sam. That was one thing I wanted to do. But mostly just working hard, and we're here to aid the coaches. Like we're not going to be the difference. Like I'm not the reason we're undefeated, but like I'm learning on top of helping aid these coaches in whatever they need. And if I find things that can help them, I will do that. But mainly whatever they need, we're there for them and to make their lives easier.
All right, so Price told us a story last week about at camp, you got traded onto his team. He was crying because his brother got traded away. What is your perspective of that story?
So what it was it was me, Peyton, and Price were on the same team. And obviously those two guys were unbelievable players, but I was pretty good back in the day, I like to think at least. So our team was way too stacked for the camp, and we're killing everyone we play. And when they do that, you trade away your best player. Peyton's the best player on the team, so they traded Peyton away to make the teams a little bit more fair. And Price's reaction was crying, which understandable. I cried a lot in those camps too, but they traded him away. And then they brought him back because Price was crying, moved me to a bad team, and then I was on the terrible team. But I remember
That's how it works.
Yes, I moved to the bad team. They brought Peyton back, and they probably won the championship. I don't remember, but
That's not really fair.
that's what I thought at the time too.
That's hilarious. Okay, I also want to give you a chance to defend yourself too, because Sam's obviously pretty competitive. He likes to claim that he's the best golfer in the family, but your dad says otherwise. What is your take on that?
Yeah, he's incorrect on that. Statistically incorrect. He plays a lot more than I do, so he might be better right now, but if I'm putting in the time and the effort, I'm going to be better than him. I was always more consistent, and you can ask my dad about that one.
Awesome. Well, great stuff. Thanks for your time. It's great chatting with you, and best of luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good stuff with Jess and Charlie. Again, big game coming up tomorrow night as Oregon is here. PBA, 7 p.m. Central start to our pregame. Kent Pavelka and Coach Jeff Smith, the number 8 ranked Huskers. That is tied for the best AP rank in program history. This dream season continues to roll along, and we had a chance to talk with Luca for the first 3 segments of the show, and a lot of it is built on the backs of guys like Charlie Hoiberg on that bench and Luca Virgilio, and of course the leadership of Fred Hoiberg and what he's continued to build in terms of the chemistry and the connective tissue for this team. 16-point second-half comeback on the road against Indiana. Not many times a Nebraska basketball team can say that, and just a dream season continues. So pregame tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central with Oregon here in town. Appreciate Luca, appreciate Josh and Camden for their help. I'm Kyle Crooks as we say so long on the Nebraska Basketball Show.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes to finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Think a bunch of IT gurus would have anything in common with a dominant college volleyball team? Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of Applied Connective, serving Nebraska businesses for nearly 20 years. We're proud to have a few things in common with our beloved Huskers, namely that we're also a group of hardworking and highly skilled individuals that make up one dynamic team. From our IT and cybersecurity all-stars to our phone, physical security, infrastructure, and audio-video pros, we're one team that can expertly manage all your technologies. Discover why it's a game changer to partner with us at appliedconnective.com. And as always, go Big Red.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at Streamline